devotees, we are moving on to the next part of our program, is Sunday Feast lecture. Today's class will be given by Her Grace Suvarna Manjari Mataji. Mataji, very familiar to our congregation. She does not need any introduction, but our purification telling few words. Mataji is participating in many temple services in the background. Mataji was a big support in raising funds for the temple. She has been continuing to support along with Rahul Prabhu. Mataji is pillar of our congregation. Mataji's classes are very simple and understandable way of implement, and she is well known for her melodious Kirtan. With that, we will welcome Suvarna Manjari Mataji by loudly chanting one time Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Mataji, over to you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for coming today. So, as always, we will start with meditating on the Lord by singing Jai Radha Madhava. Jai Radha Madhava, Jayo Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava, Jayo Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradhari, Jaya Girivaradhari. Jayo Yashodanandana, Jayo Brajajana Ranjana. Jayo Yamuna Tiravanachari, Jayo Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava, Jayo Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna. It was one of those days where I think we didn't want to stop singing Jai Radha Madhava, but we have to keep time for the class, so we can pick up again after the class. Let's start by chanting the pranam mantras, and you're welcome to join me as I chant them. This is to invoke auspiciousness, and also we are also imperfect that any mistakes we make, we are asking for forgiveness. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapad Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. One more time. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev ki jai. Today's verse is from chapter 8, and we are going to start with verse 8 of chapter 8, so 8.8. And even though it is, we are anchoring on verse 8 from chapter 8, as you study different chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, you realize how interconnected all those verses are. Somebody had told me when I was in my maybe early 20s that, you can pick up the Bhagavad Gita and read any chapter, any verse, and it still makes sense because, and I was like, how can that be? If it is a book, you have to go chapter by chapter. But as I've spent last many years reading, I do see how that makes sense because every verse is complete in itself. And even if you have not read the chapter before, it links you to the chapters before and it links you to the chapters after. So we'll start with verse 8 and then we will go to interrelated verses. The thought behind connecting all these verses is that end of the day, Krishna has given us the message in so many different ways. It is one message in different ways. And for those of you who are parents, you know what that means because we continue teaching our children the same thing in several different ways, okay? And Krishna, being our parent, is also doing the same. So now we know where we get it from, But as they say in the church also, repetition does not ruin the prayer because repetition is important. And for things to register, you have to repeat it and you have to practice it and you have to keep doing it over and over again. That is when you master it. So let's start with verse 8. Before that, we'll chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I'll say the first, part of the verse. Please repeat after me. Abhyasa yoga yuktena. Chetasa nanyagamina. Paramam purusham divyam. Yati parthanu chintayan. Let's do it again. Abhyasa yoga yuktena. Chetasa nanyagamina. Paramam purusham divyam. Yati parthanu chintayan. So can we get two volunteers to recite the verse? Abhyasa yoga yuktena. Chetasa nanyagamina. Paramam purusham divyam. Yati parthanu chintayan.
Abhyasa yoga yuktena.
Abhyasa yoga yuktena. Chetasa nanyagamina.
Paramam purusham divyam.
Paramam purusham divyam.
Yati padanu chintayan.
Thank you. Abhyasa yoga, in practice of meditation. Yuktena, being engaged. Chetasa, by mind and intelligence. Nanyagamina, without being deviated. Paramam, the supreme. Purusham, personality of Godhead. Divyam, transcendental. Yati, one achieves. Partha, O son of Pritha. Anuchintayan, constantly thinking of. The translation of this verse is, he who meditates on me as the supreme personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, he, O Partha, is sure to reach me. Before we get into more of a interactive phase and discuss and share realizations, let's read Srila Prabhupada's purport on this, and then that'll open up a lot more thoughts for us. In this verse, Lord Krishna stresses the importance of remembering him. One's memory of Krishna is revived by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this has revived our memory. And actually, because we are chanting, our memory is revived and we are here. By this practice of chanting and hearing the sound vibration of the Supreme Lord, one's ear, tongue, and mind are engaged. The mystic meditation is very easy to practice, and it helps one attain the Supreme Lord. Purusham, we read earlier, Purusham means the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It also means enjoyer. Although living entities belong to the marginal energy of the Supreme Lord, they are in material contamination. They think themselves as enjoyer. But we are not the supreme enjoyers. We are actually the enjoyed. Here it is clearly stated that the supreme enjoyer is the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his different manifestations and plenary expansions such as Narayana, Vasudeva, etc. The devotee can constantly think of the object of worship, the Supreme Lord, in any of his features, Narayana, Krishna, Rama, etc., by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Even when you are chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, whatever form of the Lord you are most attracted to, you can meditate on that form. Whether it is Bal Gopal, whether it is Gaurnitai, whether it is Radha Krishna, you can meditate on that form. This practice will purify them, and at the end of their life, due to constant chanting, they will be transferred to the kingdom of God. Yoga practice is meditation on the super soul within. Similarly, by chanting Hare Krishna, one fixes their mind on the Supreme Lord. So here Srila Prabhupada has said, what is real yoga practice? It is not the practice of breathing deep and breathing out. The real yoga is meditating on the Supreme Lord. The mind is fickle. We all know that, right? Our mind tells us so many things in the same breath. And therefore, it is necessary to engage the mind to think of Krishna. One example often given is that of a caterpillar that thinks of becoming a butterfly and is so transformed into a butterfly in the same life. Similarly, if we constantly think of Krishna, it is certain, so the word certain is very important, it is certain that at the end of our lives, we will have the same bodily constitution as Krishna. So, a couple things here. Caterpillar. Even if you've not seen a real caterpillar, you've seen pictures of caterpillar, right? When we were kids, we had the luxury of seeing real caterpillars grow into butterflies. But a caterpillar, you look at a caterpillar, there's nothing that is attractive about a caterpillar, right? But when that caterpillar becomes a butterfly, those butterflies are generally, you generally see butterflies and they're very attractive. They are flying, they're beautiful colors, they help in so many ways in the environment, and it's just, when we were little we used to catch butterflies, and you won't believe that the color on the butterfly actually is like, it's almost like powder, it comes on your hands. But it is such beautiful color. So if a caterpillar can get transformed into such a beautiful butterfly, then we can definitely get transformed. And here, Srila Prabhupada said, it is certain, if we are constantly thinking of Krishna, we will attain the same bodily features, okay, and be with Krishna. Because whatever you are desiring, ultimately you work towards that. Because just by sitting and desiring that I want to go to med school or I want to go to Stanford, it doesn't happen, right? You start with a desire, then you carve out your path, then you talk to people who know that path, right? Why when our kids were going to college, we got college counselors. Because we don't know what is the process of going to college in this country, so you have to rely on somebody who has knowledge, right? And in our case, we rely on our scriptures and we rely on our gurus, right? Acharyas and gurus. And then they tell you what is the roadmap, right? So even if you're working you have to have a plan. You can't just get in your car and say, I'm going to some place without having the map for that place, because you'll end up in the wrong place. So you have a desire, so you know your destination. You approach somebody who has the knowledge as to how do I get there. Then you create a plan, how do I get there? And then you start working on that plan, you know. Sometimes we all know we try to do things in one day and it takes us 3 days to do the same thing. And sometimes we plan for things in one day and we get it done in 2 hours. So that is all dependent on the task, how much distance we are from our destination and how much effort we are putting. So, key message in almost any verse of Bhagavad Gita that you pick up, it is telling you basic few things. First and foremost, it starts with we are not the body, we are the soul. And of course, I'm oversimplifying it, so don't think that this is all you need to read. There's a lot to read. Then it comes to how do you what is Bhakti Yoga and what is the highest form of yoga, which is Bhakti Yoga. Then Krishna explains, okay, how do you attain the Supreme? How do you get there? Then he talks about, of course, the last few chapters, the last 6 chapters are what they call the, covering chapters of the middle 6 and the first 6 and the last 6 are the coverings for the middle chapters. And then ultimately, he gives the confidential knowledge, talks about the divisions of faith, what are the qualities of divine and demoniac, and finally, to me, what I last remember in the verses of Bhagavad Gita is Sarva Dharman Parityajya. That is the ultimate essence. Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Aham Tva Sarva Papebhyo Moksha Ishyami Ma Shucha. Which means give up everything. Ultimate crux is think of Krishna, remember Krishna, chant Krishna's name, and Krishna will reveal himself to you. We're all here for that reason. We're not here for just the prasadam. Yes, prasadam is important. We're not here just for the prasadam. We could have gone to a restaurant if that's all we wanted to eat. But we want to learn. We want to evolve. And our ultimate goal is to develop love for Krishna. Ultimate goal is not just going back to Krishna's home. Once we develop the love for Krishna, it doesn't matter where we are. We will be happy in any condition. So continuing on 8.8. The most confidential part of knowledge is that one should become a pure devotee of Krishna and always think of him and act for him. So think of Krishna and do your activities for Krishna. Life should be so molded that one will always have a chance to think of Krishna. Okay? So it doesn't matter. We all know kids are spending time in school, we are spending time working, running errands, but that doesn't mean we don't have an opportunity to think of Krishna. You are going for an exam, you can think of Krishna. You're going to school in the morning, you can think of Krishna. During your recess, you can think of Krishna. If somebody's not so nice to you, also you can think of Krishna. That Krishna, please give this person the intelligence. And if somebody is nice to you, also you can think of Krishna by saying, Krishna, thank you for sending such good people. In every breath we can have gratitude for Krishna. We wake up in the morning. What is the guarantee we wake up to a normal morning? those people who were in Maui Island, they woke up to a devastation when the fire started overnight. So there is no guarantee. So whatever we get, we should be extremely grateful for that. One of the things which we talk about at home also, and I tell our kids also, is we are overprivileged because there are so many devastating events that happen around the world, right? Whether it is due to war, whether it is due to Mother Nature, whether it is, you hear of, people killing each other, just not knowing each other and still killing each other. There's so much misery. And for most of our life till now, we have not been exposed to all of that. So we have been very, very fortunate. So there must have been something that we have done to get us to this point. Now, the question is, do we want to secure that and continue with good fortune, or do we want to give up this thing and, after all, the people who are going through misery, they would not want to go through misery. Nobody wants to go through misery. Nobody wants that they have, dukh on them. Nobody asks for dukh. Queen Kunti was a very advanced soul who asked for dukh, but we are not there. We don't ask for dukh, we ask for sukh. We always say, sukh karata, dukh harata. That take away all my dukh and give me the sukh. But what are we doing with that sukh? So, of all the people, we, who are living such good, privileged lives, are doing a disservice if we are not making the best of this. So we have no excuse, no reason to not think of Krishna, to not pray to Krishna, and to not make, fulfill the purpose of this human life. It doesn't seem like that human life is very rare, because when you look around you, you see people, right? Wherever you go, you see people. The Earth's population has gone from 7 billion to 8 billion now. So people are increasing. So we never actually, unless we have the knowledge of scriptures, we don't realize that having this human birth is very rare. When I was a young girl and my grandmother told me that human birth is very rare, you tell that to somebody on the street, they're like, what are you talking, it's rare. I see humans all around me. But when you understand that there are 8,400,000 species that we have gone through to come to this human birth, of which human life is 400,000 species, you can imagine that the risk of falling from this human birth, there's no cutting in line. You just then start over on those 8,400,000 species. So, it is good to believe that human birth is rare, and as you learn more and as you read more, you get convinced that human birth is rare. And then what is more rare? Even in human birth, getting knowledge of Krishna, having these privileges, getting knowledge of Krishna and coming to the temple and learning about Krishna, that is even more rare. Of the 8 billion people, we are in the top 0.001% of chosen, I would say selected human beings who have been given this golden ticket. I don't know if any of you has watched that movie, what is that, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, in which select people get that golden ticket. So we have that golden ticket, and it's very, very sad that we still do not, most of us in this room have lived or are close to, other than the kids, most of the adults have lived half their lives. And half of our really healthy and, energetic lives, right? What's ahead of us may be anywhere between 20 and 40 years. So half is gone, half is remaining. In the last part of that half, let's say last 10 years, you're dealing with health issues. We don't know what our mental state is going to be. So let's assume only a quarter of our life is left to think of Krishna. So it's really, really important to, even the verse that the children chanted was constantly thinking of Krishna. And as we go through the remaining verses, you will realize that the message is the same. It is relayed in many different ways because we don't understand very easily, and we have this false ego that I know better. Krishna has tried and tried and tried. So now, as they say in America, the ball is in our court. He's given us everything. He's actually given us the most privileged life. He's kept us away from a lot of miseries of life. Now, there's nothing more you can do, right? You can give your child all the books. You can give them the tutoring. You can put them in the best school. You can give them a great room, a study table, a laptop. You can give them all those privileges. But even if after that the child doesn't study, can you do that for them? You cannot. Then at that point you're like, listen, I have done my duty. If they're not willing to take benefit of it, there's nothing much I can do. And that's exactly what Krishna is saying to all of us. I've given you the best life. I've given you human birth. I've given you the association. I've given you knowledge, and I've given you the means of doing all this. I've given you Bhagavad Gita, I've given you Srila Prabhupada, I've given you gurus. What more can I give you? You have to take that one step for Krishna to take the next 10 steps. Krishna's promises that anyone who is in pure consciousness will certainly return to the abode of Krishna, where he will be engaged in the association of Krishna face to face. I was listening to a class where it said that Krishna is so eagerly waiting for us to return to his home. So think of, for those of you who have children, or for those of you who have parents in different parts of the world, think of it this way. When you are either your children are coming home or you are going back home to your parents, how eagerly they are waiting, and as soon as you reach there, they are enlightened with, illuminated with love, and they welcome you and hug you. Krishna does the same when we go to his home, to Krishna's abode. Krishna is waiting for us. And he will give us that warm hug that we have never received in our lives. Why would we not want that good fortune? And he has made a promise in chapter 8, verse 5. Anyone who wants to chant that verse, chapter 8, verse 5? Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaran ya prayasti samadbhavan yati nastyatra samshaya. Whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. Okay? Nobody gives you any guarantees. Parents cannot guarantee their children that their life is going to be full of bliss. Children cannot guarantee their parents that we will be, take full care of you during your old age. No child can give that guarantee. Your employer cannot give you the guarantee that they will always send you that paycheck. Schools cannot give guarantee that after getting a 4.0 GPA and 1600 SAT, you're going to get into the best college. Nobody can give you guarantee. Doctors cannot give you guarantee that they will cure your disease. Nobody. But Krishna gives us the guarantee that if we are thinking of him in our last breath, we will attain his nature and we will go back to him, and then we will never return. So, Nobody can give guarantees, but Krishna can give. And Srila Prabhupada, I always anchor on this part of Srila Prabhupada, although we should think about more than just this, but I always anchor in one of his lectures he had said, in his initiation lecture he had said, chant 16 rounds, follow the 4 regulative principles, and I assure you, Srila Prabhupada had said, you will go back to Godhead in this lifetime. For me, that was the biggest bait in getting to Krishna consciousness. I was like, wow, somebody gives you this guarantee? Srila Prabhupada has given us this guarantee. So, in this age of Kali, there is one and only one way of remembering Krishna constantly and thinking of Krishna constantly. So, if you call any temple or if you call any devotee, they will not pick up the phone and say hello. They will pick up the phone and say Hare Krishna. When they sneeze, they say Hare Krishna because you want to constantly think of Krishna. Does any of the kids here go to Kumon for math or any such practice? Okay. You do worksheets every day? You used to do worksheets every day, right? Not fun, right, to do worksheets every day? So I sent my younger daughter to Kumon and for 4 or 5 years and made her do those worksheets every day. And it got, nobody likes to do that. But her math became so good after that, so good, that she never needed any help through her advanced math classes. So even though she hated it, but she did it. And I'm not saying we hate chanting, but sometimes we don't feel as energized, right? You're like, oh, I have to chant. We do it like a chore. Of course, the intent is for us to reach a point where we are excited about chanting and we are enthusiastic about chanting. I want to chant because I love to chant. But it's a journey. You don't get there overnight. Just like the kids don't like doing Kumon sheets, anything that is to be done regularly with sincerity, it takes practice, it takes time, and that is what this verse is telling us, abhyasa. Abhyasa in, I grew up in Pune, abhyasa in Marathi used to mean study, okay? So, and which abhyasa? Yogena. So you have to study the real yoga, the bhakti yoga you have to understand, and you have to practice that bhakti yoga. Then again in chapter 8, Krishna says, in verse 14, Ananya cheta satatam yo mam smarati nityasa tasyaham sulabha partha nityayuktasya yogina. For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain because of his constant engagement in devotional service. And then, you may have heard about Chaturshloki Gita, which is in chapter 10, verses 10.8, 10.9, 10.10, and 10.11. So, those 4 verses embody the full essence of Bhagavad Gita. And one of those verses says, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. Those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give them the understanding by which they can come to me. So we talked about, how do you know what is the process, right? If you want to do something new, you would go seek a learned person and say, okay, how do you do this? How do you get there? You get some help from people who know the field of study, right? What Krishna is saying is, I'll make it easier for you. If you are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I will give you that jnana and understanding, and I will open all paths for you so you can easily come to me. And then in chapter 12, Bhakti Yoga, Krishna also says a similar thing. 12.8 says, Mayeva mana adhatsva, mai buddhim niveshaya, nivashishyasi mayeva ata urdhvam na samshaya. This verse says, just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They've clarified who me means here. Srila Prabhupada made sure. And engage your intelligence in me. So mind and intelligence are separate, right? The mind will tell you, no, I don't want to do this. This is boring. Your intelligence will tell you, you better do this. Otherwise, you're going to fail. So often before an exam, I used to always ask my mother when I was little, why can't I just keep this textbook under my pillow and all that knowledge just transfers to my brain? So I don't have to study and I know everything. She would say, no, you have to work towards it. Then I would say, why can't the teachers just give the exam questions ahead of time and we just prepare those questions? It would be so much easier. So I used to always try and see what is the easy way out. Same for, a lot of us have tried various ways of losing weight, and I have, in my youth, tried a lot of these, fake advertisements that, oh, you lose weight with this, you lose weight with that. I tried all of that, but no, I didn't lose weight. Because there is only to do anything and to achieve anything, whether material, what to talk of spiritual, you have to work towards it and you have to follow the prescribed process. And you have to follow it fully. You cannot follow only one aspect of it. That is like telling the doctor that, you gave me 3 medicines for this condition of mine. I only like to take one medicine, I'm not going to take the other 2. No, we cannot do that. But Krishna is so kind that he made the process so easy for us. In Satyug, it was such an elaborate process of doing tapasya. Okay, for 60,000 years people would do tapasya. Then in Treta Yuga, it was yajna. Those yajnas were very, very expensive and very elaborate. Then in Dwapar Yuga, it was deity worship. That was also very elaborate. And in Kali Yuga, Krishna said, I'll make it simple for all of you. Let's do one thing, just chant and remember me. It's so funny, I was talking to a friend of mine a couple days ago, and she was telling me she took her daughters to, she has twin daughters, she took her daughters to, for the annual medical checkup, like we go. And nowadays the doctors will say, mother, please step out, I want to talk to them confidentially. Okay, so she asked the daughter, are you scared? Are you depressed? Is it safe to be at home? All of that. The doctors are asking all those questions. I laugh when they ask me, but the kids are different. So when she said, are you scared? And that girl said, yes. And the doctor said, why? She said, because my mother will get angry if I don't do well. And she was telling me that, listen, when we were little, first and foremost, this concept did not exist. Okay? And there was no concept, there was no thought also that if your parents are going to get angry, that's a problem. It was normal, part of parenting, right? So we were just talking how fragile every generation has become, and we all hear that mental health is such a big crisis today. I had not even heard of that term till I came to this country, and even though the problems were there, but it was not so expansive. So we were just saying that now the bar has been so lowered in terms of what you expect from your kids, that you're like, just stay happy, just stay healthy. If you have any problem, I'm here to support you. You can't tell them anything that, no, I'm spending so much money, you need to do well. You can't even tell them that. Because then they'll say, oh, I'm feeling depressed, I'm feeling anxiety. And I was like, the bar has gone down so much in terms of what we can expect from children, and the bar has gone so up in terms of what the children can expect from us. So this is a very unique situation. You can't scold your children. Forget slapping or beating them up. That is a whole different thing. You can't even scold them because they'll say, now I'm depressed because of you. And you're like, what is this? So how do you parent the child? So we were just having, as 2 mothers, we were having this discussion. And then this morning I said, you know what? As I think, Krishna is in the same position with us. Because first Krishna set the bar in Satyug, which was ghor tapasya. We failed that bar, right? Then he set another bar in Treta Yuga. We failed that bar also. So we are also getting fragile by every yuga. Then he set another bar in Dwapar Yuga. We failed that bar also. And now even Krishna has lowered the bar so much on us that he's like, Baba, just chant and remember me. So not only are we seeing this with our generations, I think it is the same with the yugas. How much more can we be easy on our children, and how much more can Krishna be easy on us? So that is why they say, even though Kali Yuga has all the defects and all the problems, it is the golden age to go back to Krishna, because the test is so easy now. You already know, like I was saying, can't I know the questions and answers beforehand, before going for the test? It has come true now. 25 years later, I realize that, yeah, that is the case. We have the questions and we have the answers. All we have to do is study that limited set of questions and answers. And Krishna being so kind, even the bar on pass and fail, he has changed that. You don't even have to score 100%. He's so merciful and so eagerly waiting for us that he's like, okay, at least do one thing. Think of me, chant. In chapter 12, Bhakti Yoga, that chapter keeps going. First is you chant and you are constantly fixed on me. If you cannot do this, then work for me. If you cannot do this, then offer the results, offer the fruits of your work to me. So, in the end, what we are experiencing through generations, Krishna has experienced that through yugas. He's our eternal father and mother, and he's waiting for us to come back home. He's made life really easy for us, at least the ones in this room and many others outside this room that I can say, we should not lose this birth and waste our this precious birth, which is so entitled, so easy to go back to Krishna. And we should all, I know Sarveshwari Mataji on her birthday, she had said that only give me one blessing, that she's here, I think I saw her here, only give me one blessing that I go back to Krishna in this lifetime. That should be all of us desire. And that will only come when we have love for Krishna. So think of love. When our children come home, or when it is our, when there's any event associated with kids or with family, what do you call your immediate family, we do everything to please them, right? Because we have an attachment to them. Like that, we have to develop the attachment to Krishna, because by nature, we cannot be fully detached. Human nature is to be attached. We have to evolve that attachment from relationships which are not going to be with you forever, and which are, even in the best of relationships between mother and child, husband and wife, and siblings, there is disappointment. Okay? There is no perfect relationship, and because we have tolerance, we are like, it's okay, I'll just forgive and I'll move forward, right? But with Krishna, it is full reciprocation, there is no disappointment, there is always fulfillment of the promise. So we have to fix our mind on Krishna. And what is the process? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, those 9 processes are given. And they say the devotional process is a very, very happy one. Susukham. We come to the temple, even before, I started chanting, coming to the temple was your soul was just happy when you left. Even if you don't know any of this, because those vibes are so positive, the potency of the deities is so great that it almost feels like you have to come to recharge your batteries every week. Because you don't come and then you can feel the effect of that. And because we are so privileged, we cannot miss this opportunity. Krishna says in chapter 7, Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan ma prapadyate vasudeva sarvam iti sa mahatma sudurlabha. This is very, very, very rare. Sudurlabha. Durlabha itself means very rare. Sudurlabha means extremely rare. Krishna says after many births and deaths, which we all have been coming from Satyug to Treta Yug to Dwapar Yug to Kali Yug, and in each yug we've had so many births and deaths. Okay? He who is actually in knowledge surrenders to me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes. Such a great soul is very rare. We have to aspire to be that soul who is in knowledge and willing to surrender to Krishna. And then my favorite verses of all, there's only one verse in the Bhagavad Gita that is repeated twice. So you can imagine, even though all the verses have conveyed the similar meaning, one verse is repeated in chapter 9 and chapter 18. And everybody knows that verse, so you can chant with me. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi yuktaivam atmanam matparayana. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my pure devotee. Offer obeisances to me. Worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, you will surely come to me. So overall, with my limited knowledge and limited reading that I do, I was able to say there were at least 8 or 10 verses that are telling us the same message, and one verse which is repeated twice. So, really important is that Krishna has repeated and repeated and repeated the same message. Okay, not for Arjun. Arjun was very knowledgeable. That was only for all of us. So now those messages have been repeated in all these classes, 52 classes a week, right? So what I'm saying is probably not new to most of us. Now we have to fill that gap between knowing and doing. We know a lot of things. We know this process is very easy, but we have to do it. We have to you can't just think that I'm going to cook these 5 things. You actually have to go buy the groceries, do the cooking, offer it, eat it. So that effort and faith is what we need to continuously do. As you all know, we are building the next phase of our temple. Okay? And I've seen the plans, but my ultimate vision of Hare Krishna Temple of Austin in Cedar Park is, the huge temple hall which can seat and we can have Kirtan for 300 to 500 people. Okay, so just envision this. There's a stage up there which has the deities, and we have beautiful full-size deities, okay? On a beautiful altar. We have a fully industrial kitchen. For those of you who went to cook for Janmashtami, you know the importance of a full industrial kitchen, where we are doing everything from start to end in that kitchen and offering, and there is bhoga offerings multiple times a day. So start imagining this. And we have a separate room and a separate hall for events. One room or multiple rooms for the students. Okay, I've been to Chinmaya Mission a few years ago, and I saw the student rooms there. Okay, a beautiful garden where we can grow our vegetables and have organic vegetables that we will cook for Krishna. Another recreational hall where we host events like birthdays, weddings, graduation parties. So imagine this to be that future temple, Hare Krishna Temple of Austin in Cedar Park. And we are working towards it, because like I said, it just doesn't happen by imagining. Okay, there has to be work done to it. So what we are doing is, and Krishna has said this in chapter 9 again, Yat karoshi yad ashnashi, yad jihoshi dadashi yat. Yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, whatever you give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. So, week after week, I'm here before you making a pitch for contributions for the next phase of our temple. And everything that I talked about imagination is not going to happen in one phase. There are going to be multiple phases. But in the next phase, we are looking at a full hall. We are looking at an industrial kitchen and beautiful altar. Hopefully, if funds are there, we'll make a beautiful dome. So you can see from a distance that that is a temple. The temple needs to look like a temple and people need to be attracted to it, right? So in chapter 17, Krishna talks about different types of charities. And charities can be done in many ways. Charity in the mode of ignorance, where you're giving it to an undeserving person and they're not using it properly because you're thinking you've done the right thing, but actually that person is using it for the wrong means, okay? Charity in the mode of passion. So people want their name and fame, so they'll make that building, okay, this building in the college and that building in the college so that my legacy and my name lasts forever. Great. Charity in the mode of goodness, satvik which means given to the right purpose at the right time. And then out of these three modes of nature, charity in the mode of goodness is obviously the best, okay, to do pious things. But even higher than that is transcendental charity, nirguna dan. Charity given to a person or an entity for the purpose of doing devotional service to the Supreme Lord Krishna. The power of this type of charity is that both the giver and the receiver will be liberated from the cycle of birth and death. So anybody who has made any contribution, because as I say, Krishna doesn't see what you give, Krishna sees what you keep. So everybody has a different capacity to contribute. And the other day when we were doing fundraising, a small boy said, I will do $500. You know what? That child probably got his level of charity was higher than some of us who may have given a lot more. Because Krishna is seeing what he's giving, not what he's keeping and not what he's giving. So I urge all of you, because we want to make this beautiful vision come true. And we know it takes money to do anything in this world, okay? And charity given for the purpose of building a temple is also a sacrifice. It is an austerity. Why is it a sacrifice? We know how hard it is to part with Lakshmi Devi, right? So it is a sacrifice to part with Lakshmi Devi. You don't, all of us are slogging 8-10 hours a day and thinking of how we invest and thinking of how we save for retirement. Now let's think of, yes, you have to think of all that. I'm not saying forget that, but think of even beyond this life. How are we are all interested in securing our future and we are interested in securing our children's futures. But our future definition ends at death. We all know that we are not here only for one lifetime. Whoever said you live only one life, okay, I'm not getting into a debate with them, but we know that is not true. At least the people in this room know that is not true. We have been living life after life after life, and we will continue living if we don't break this cycle. So we have to break this cycle, and we don't have to think of just future as future of this lifetime. We have to think of future of what happens after this lifetime. And if we want to secure, just the way we secure our 401k and whatever other means that you're putting together for when you don't have a job, secure for when you don't have this life. You don't want to start over. None of us wants to start over, because by the time we come back, Kali Yuga would have progressed further. And to earn that same loaf of bread, as Srila Prabhupada said, this is his language, it is going to take a lot more effort. So to secure ourselves for those next birth and go back to Krishna, because this is guarantee given by Krishna, the power of this charity is such that both the giver and the receiver will be liberated from the cycle of birth to death. So this is our opportunity to get that eternal benefit. So I'm going to sum it up by saying, you've probably heard this before, we failed in Satyug many lifetimes. We came to Treta Yuga. We failed in Treta Yuga many lifetimes. We went to Dwapar Yuga. We failed in Dwapar Yuga many lifetimes. We came to Kali Yuga. And even in Kali Yuga, we don't know how many lifetimes we've already lived. So, let's pass this exam now. And we know chanting is important. We know building places that bring more of those miserable souls. There's so much misery, right, in this world. We want to bring, and there is that, what did we say, Vasudeva, sir, yeah. So we want the whole world, okay, to be one big Vaishnava family. How do we do that? We can't. Even with building the temple, we can't make the whole world. But if everybody starts doing it, then, and if more and more people start doing this and we had 3,700 visitors who came on Janmashtami. Imagine with the size of the temple that we're talking about, we could have 10,000 visitors on Janmashtami. We could be doing our own Rath Yatra in 6th Street, Austin. That whole street will be closed and we will be doing Rath Yatra. And they say just by seeing Lord Jagannath, when he comes out doing his Rath Yatra, it could liberate you, or you could get rid of hundreds and thousands of births of sins. So we have to not just think of this lifetime, we have to think of how we don't get entangled in the same thing and how we continue making our journey forward. So I'm going to close it out by, I know it's time, so I'm going to close it out by saying, please continue coming to the temple. Please chant every day. Please read Bhagavad Gita. One verse takes 10 minutes, okay? So when I started, my goal was one verse. And I said, okay, in 2 years I'll finish reading Bhagavad Gita. The magic is that once you read one verse, you want to read the next verse. So over time that magic happens. Then you can finish reading it in 1 year. And then the magic happens that you read more. And at ISKCON Silicon Valley, they do Bhagavad Gita chapter a day. It's called CHAD. And during Kartik month, they do a chapter a day. So what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter whether you're starting your journey, whether you are you're already a master's degree in this journey, whether you're a PhD in this journey, doesn't matter. Just continue doing what Lord Chaitanya has said for this yuga. Chant, spread Krishna's name, pass this knowledge to others, so that who's most favorite to Krishna? Not just one who does for himself, the one who gives it to others. So if we really want to be that favorite for Krishna, we have to pass this knowledge to others, and we can pass it if we have the means to do it. So please consider, talk to me or Satyasar Prabhu. Please make whatever contribution you can. We have already collected about $636,000. So that is a huge thing. So thank you to everybody who has contributed. And we have about $400,000 yet. So we are about 65% through our goal. Our goal for this phase is $1 million. We're not too far. Every piece helps, every amount helps. So please come forward, open your heart, make your sacrifice, earn this eternal benefit, and come with us to Krishna Loka. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna devotees, thank you Mataji for a wonderful class. If you have any question or comment, or you want to share your reflection, please raise your hand in the temple hall, and devotees who joined online as well can raise their hand.
There's only two conclusions if there are no questions. Either you understood everything or nothing. I'm hoping it's the first.
Yeah, it looks like first one is correct.
Hopefully. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Devotees, we are going to attend Arati now. Please rise at your places.
Is it on? Thank you.
Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine
Krishna
Swami Iti Namine Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatyadeshakarine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Jai मदन मोहन राधे।
जय राधा मदन मोहन राधा मदन मोहन राधे।
जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे।
जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे।
जय राधा गोपीनाथ राधा गोपीनाथ राधे।
जय राधा गोपीनाथ राधा गोपीनाथ राधे।
जय राधा नील माधव राधा नील माधव राधे।
जय राधा नील माधव राधा नील माधव राधे।
जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे।
जय राधे जय राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे।
जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय।
जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय।
निताय गौर हरि बोल
हरि बोल
हरि बोल
हरि बोल
हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल।
निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल।
जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद।
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद।
जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव
गुरुदेव
गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव।
जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव।
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमाधीज डिवाइन ग्रेस एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज शिल प्रभुपाद की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, नामाचार्य शिला हरिदास ठाकुर की। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवसदि गौर भक्त वृंद की। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की, वृंदावन धाम की, नवदीप धाम की, यमुना देवी गंगा देवी तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की, बृहत में गंगा की, हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, सामवेद भक्त वृंद की, गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna Temple of Austin ki. Hari Bol.
नमस्ते नरसिंहाय प्रह्लादलाददायिने हिरण्यकाशिपौर्वक्षः शिलतनुकानकालाये कौनसिंहो परकौनसिंहो यतो यतो यामितकौनसिंहो नरसिंहमादिं शरणं प्रपदे तव करकमलवरे नाकामधुतशृङ्गा ललिता हिरण्यकशिपू तनुभङ्गा केशवदीपा नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव नरसिंह भगवान की गौर प्रेमानंदी। Hare Krishna devotees, thank you for attending this 100 Feast program. Today's announcements. This year we are celebrating Radha Ashtami on coming Friday.